All right, we're gonna do Magic You Oracle cards. Today is one of my favorite days. It is All Saints Day. Tomorrow is All Souls Day. We will talk about that. Just give me 1 minute while I'm fighting this video and getting it set up and shared out. If you're just fighting me, take a second to say hi. Connect with the energies. Make sure you're also hitting the share button. Give me a minute while I'm sharing this out. You might be feeling a little bit of a Halloween hangover. I always describe it as. We'll talk about that too. All right, make sure you guys are hitting the share button, especially if you're trying to get cards and things like that. We're going to do some magic cards and just kind of see what's going on. I was grabbing this. It's that time of year. I put a little bit of an article up on my website. It was pretty long, actually. I put a little bit of an article, though, up on my website talking about today's energy. So if you want to know a little bit more about it, this is not like a religious thing. If you know me, I'm like, right? This is for everyone. We're being reminded that this is a time of light. So even though we're still in that Somain gateway and we're still kind of feeling those energies, and we might be, it brings a powerful energy and a powerful frequency. These days are actually amazing for connecting with ascended masters, angels, or even just source energy, and of course loved ones in spirit. It's a great time to connect with the dead and all the dead, right? To light a candle, to say a prayer, to connect with the other side. You might be feeling that they're around you a little bit extra. And this could be, I was going to say, through your thoughts. A lot of times spirit comes to our thoughts and sends us messages. It could be through your memories. It could be sensing them energetically, feeling them, seeing flashes of lights, orbs, different things like that. You might be dreaming of loved ones on the other side. This could be your loved ones in spirit, or even this could be ones in your ancestral line that are coming through, that are guiding you during this time. So I did put, I'm not going to go too into this because I've already been talking about it like all day, but I put an article up talking about today and how to kind of use the energies on my website. So if you want to know more about the energy of today's All Saints Day, tomorrow's All Souls Day, you can go ahead and check out my website, sparksofdivinelighthealing.com. I put a nice article up there. So check it out. I'm an energy healer too. It's what I do. I do healings, activations, and clearing sessions. I do psychic readings, and I teach classes like Reiki and Sikhem through my website, sparksofdivinelighthealing.com. So if you need me, go ahead and book me on there. The veil is wide open right now. So this helps us, whether we're trying to connect with the other side or tap in or even do healing work. It really, really helps us to better integrate the healings and the energies. I have lots of healings up on my website for today and tomorrow too. Then I'll kind of flip over my website. If you missed yesterday's healings, you can still do them. If they're on my site, you can still tap into that energy and do them too if you're needing them too. So make sure you're checking out my website, sparksofdivinelighthealing.com. Great day to do a healing, clearing, or activation. And we're going to do Magic You Oracle cards. So if you're able to sign up and be a supporter or send stars or PayPal donations, please do. It helps to keep this page going. Awesome way to give back if you're getting something out of this page. So if you're sending stars, I'm going to try to give you a psychic shout out. Magic You Oracle. These might be a mixed bag. This deck, I was like kind of back and forth of what deck to use, but we're going to use this card. It's a great time to be tapping into the magic of the season right now. Welcome to November, new month, new energies. We're also shifting into a higher frequency. Why I say you might have a little bit of a Halloween hangover. You might need a minute to integrate the energies. Let's see. I see Julie Weeb. Good morning. tangibility, make your dreams real. And I love this because, you know, we think it first in our mind. This is where our dreams come from and stuff like that too. It's literally about fueling your dreams more than your fears. We are human. I love to study the human condition, right? The nature of being a human and what this means. And, you know, we have a whole range of emotions and things that can come up and be stirred up. Especially, it's a little bit different during our time as we're navigating spiritual awakening and ascension on top of doing earth life, right? And things like that. And so one thing that I notice that comes out of ascension is we are clearing a lot of energies. And so when we go into sometimes fear-based energies, sometimes those are the blocks, what we need to purge out and what we need to release. There's a huge purification happening. That's what today's energies are all about, purifying to become the light and tapping into that too. I put that in my article I was saying anyways. So we don't want to feed into the fear. It comes up. The shadows are going to come up. And I always remind you, more light, more shadow work required, right? You know, you've probably been through a lot more and things like that. So you're being guided to pay more attention to your dreams than your fears, and not to continue to feed the fears, but to also fuel your dreams and to give energy to that. Wherever we put our energy, we are manifesting, we are creating. And so the more that you focus on these dreams, and guess what? That is free. Like, right? I'm just going to put that out there. Some of the best things in life, right, don't require anything. We get hung up on everything and everything kind of human and 3D, and that's okay. Literally, you can daydream and it costs you nothing. If you can do that, if you can get back, because children are good at that, right? If you can get that back, that dreaming potential, you can manifest anything, and you don't have to get lost on the details or how it will happen and all of that. The universe will take care of it. So if you sit there and you visualize the life you want, we are creating imprints, positive ones too, right? Did you know your brain can't tell the difference between something you're thinking and something you're experiencing? So when we replay trauma, we're just thinking about it in our head, where a lot of our fears come from, actually, from things we've been through. When we replay our trauma, your body is literally re-experiencing it. Your brain can't tell the difference between literally television, not going to go into that topic, right? Television, our mind, or whatever we're thinking about, it literally thinks it's real. So when we sit there and we think about, I would like to manifest this, I want my life to look like this, I have these dreams and goals, and they should be a lot bigger than where you're at now. And this is why a lot of times people give up on these dreams and goals, because you're at this place now, but you can't always conceive of how it will happen. You don't need to. All you need to do is hold that vision for, like, I say 10 seconds, but it can just be a second, right? All you need to do is daily begin to think about your dream life, where you want to go. Did you know that a lot of people, I'm going to say in the entertainment industry, they know this stuff. That's exactly how they end up superstars and huge celebrities and billionaires and things like that. A lot of them will tell you, I see that they're really good at manifesting. Some of them, well, some of them. Not going to go into that topic either, right? All it takes is holding the vision of what you want your life to look like, or any manifestation, and your brain sees it as real and happening and begins to program these things. Our subconscious creates our reality. So when we begin to use our conscious mind in a way that aids our manifestation process, amazing things begin to shift. So for you, make sure that you're focusing on manifesting whatever it is that you desire. And of course, you can do that with anything. Visualize it as it's already happening, not from that place of lack of, like, I don't have this. Maybe in the future, one day, begin to visualize whatever it is that you want, like you're experiencing it now, you have it now, because a lot of times people kind of mess up the manifestation process and tend to be like feeling the lack more. Make sure that you're not putting that into it, and that you're kind of like visualizing that you already have it. This is the fastest way to arrive at a destination or to manifest something. Let's do Magdalene. Paradisial. You belong to paradise. Now, I believe that sometimes we lose our way here on earth. We go to sleep. We're very unconscious. We pick up a lot of programming, right? Okay, many reasons. Sometimes we have lost our way. We call that living out of alignment. I always remind you. Now, when we are in our higher alignment, we remember, we begin to wake up and integrate, where we come from, what we're doing here, more of our divine purpose, and tap into more of that divine plan and begin to live out that divine plan. That divine plan is actually meant for us to not one day, not after death. I think we read, okay. Like here, right now, we came to bring a divine template here to planet Earth. We came to create and bring heaven to Earth. And I think this is important too. We've all seen the flip side of it. Not going to go there. Right? And so we want to get into alignment, and we want to bring through more of that. I call it a divine blueprint, a divine plan, and to manifest more of that. When you are, like the last message, living your dream life and bringing that down and, you know, starting to really get momentum with this, you're going to bring such beautiful designs here into the physical. Now, one of the things that we have to do, and not to go into this every day, we have to heal to be able to hold that blueprint and bring it through, because sometimes we're wanting more. We're humans, right? We want more in life, a part of the human condition. So we want more, but the thing is that the reason why sometimes we're not where we want to be, welcome to Earth right now, right, wrapping up the year, is because we have to heal to be able to hold that on a nervous system, on an energetic level, to be able to really bring that through. So one of the most powerful phases of awakening is healing and continuing to heal ourselves, right? So that'll help a ton to bring that blueprint through, because actually the blueprint, yes, it's a blueprint for our life and a divine design for our blueprint. I'm like picturing like the architecture things and stuff like that, but it's also so much more. We're living it out through our DNA blueprint. And this is like huge for our healing. So when we heal ourselves from within so that we can hold more light, so that we can hold a higher frequency, we begin to activate and turn on this blueprint, which is very connected to our outer reality of what we're actually living, experiencing, and kind of going through and things like that too. For you, continuing to focus on your healing, really bringing through that divine vision of your life and connecting with the divine will help you with that. Let's do... Thank you, Julie. Let's do Barbara. Okay, doable. The key is within your grasp. And I love this because I always think of the key to unlock doors. We're in November, talk about a new energetic doorway, talk about Somain being an energy gateway, and we kind of move through, and they can do beautiful things to our timelines, which we're always more in control of than we like to think, right? And so this is a little bit about where you're shifting to, and kind of, and I always talk about the reverse is closed doors. This is like if you've been everyone rejected in your past, you can't sit with us vibes I describe it with, you know, you really wanted to go down a certain path, or you wanted a certain connection, or whatever it was. This can apply to everything, and it didn't work out. Or this can go into like, sometimes we have connections and the soul contract is over and we don't want it to be, like whether it's like a family connection, a karmic connection, a friendship, a relationship, right? And we don't like that. Every ending, every door closing is actually leading you to your path. And so as we went through the entire matrix and some things didn't work out, and you might have pictured, you know, your life being a certain way, it was actually getting you more and more in alignment with your true divine path and where you're meant to be. You're going to be seeing so many doors opening that only the divine can open for you as you're going through your healing journey, because you're getting in an energetic alignment. And as you are, I call it reattuning or attuning your energy to these higher frequencies and vibrating as you should, this is going to send out so many signals to the right people, the right relationships, the right connections, the right jobs, where you're meant to be. And it's going to open up so many doorways that maybe were formerly closed, unhealed, because the universe is like in that wake up call energy. So you're going to be seeing some powerful shifts for this person, especially over the next couple of months ahead. So if you felt like, you know, maybe some doors were closing, that's like a timeline ending or a connection ending or a job ending kind of energy, know that it's leading to that new beginning energy and new doors opening. So every time we close out like a timeline in some type of way, it's helping us shift to a higher timeline or a higher trajectory. We don't like that. So sometimes, because we're in the season of release, as we're in the autumn, right? We're in, what do we need to let go of? What have I outgrown? The more that you can kind of continue to do this work, this inner work, you're going to really begin to rise up higher. I always talk about rising up higher in frequency. And so this is like new energy. And I love that because we're first of the month. You can't get more new energy than that, right? Bye-bye October. We're in November, and like it's kind of needed as we're moving. And the reason why it feels like a new energy, because it is, we're moving up in frequency as we're kind of moving through this awakening and ascension kind of energies too. So don't look at the doors that aren't opening. Don't feel it's rejection. It's actually usually divine redirection and protection, and we don't always see that. But it's also guiding you towards what is for you more and more. You're getting more of a clear focus to it. So pay attention to the paths that are opening up to you, or the opportunities, or the new, let's say, new doors presenting themselves. Let's do Sherry B. Solitude. Okay, and this is alone but not lonely, and I love this because we have to learn how to spend time with ourselves. And I love this because sometimes this is how we recharge, but sometimes we don't like this because this can trigger abandonment wounds and core wounds and things like that. And I always, this might not be a dating message, but I'm going to put it out there. Never ever try to look for a partner because you're lonely. It's always going to lead to, you know, karmic lessons and things like that. We should date out of alignment, not, you know, for the opposite. And we're learning that too, because sometimes as we are clearing out old karmic cycles and connections and friendships and whatever it is in our life, you know, we're getting more in our own energy. And I feel this is why some soul contracts did come with an expiration date. We didn't always want that, but every time you're letting go of a situation or a connection, it was always leading you back to yourself. And I'm going to put some unpopular truths out there. Like, do you ever notice that a lot of people haven't lasted this journey with you? And I feel because we don't want to be in that rooted in attachment energy, and we want to kind of get in our own energy, and it's trying to get you independent. It's trying to get you okay by yourself, or okay with yourself. Because when you can truly tap into yourself, this is where the greatest healing and transformation and wake up energy happens. This is like the hermit energy, and it's different because we go through different phases of our awakening. Sometimes it'll be very social, and sometimes it's like you feel kind of isolated and by yourself. If you are kind of being guided to spend a little bit more time with yourself, this is where you can heal, you can tap into yourself, you can be still and be with your thoughts, you can meditate, you can really adjust your own frequency. You're probably in these stages going through more activations and upgrades too, so kind of trust the process. Ellen S. A veneer. Make peace with your past. This is my favorite too, because I was explaining, I gave someone my book links this morning, and I'm like, make sure you check it out, my books, if you want to talk about Earth life and the real deal. And we are holding on to a lot of shadow energy, which is simply unresolved trauma, because we went through many of our traumatic experiences. Number one, asleep. Number two, sometimes at a young age, okay? And we didn't have the, I call it the bandwidth. We did not have the emotional capacity to really heal during that time. So sometimes we've been through traumatic experience, and it's kind of snowballed. This is where a lot of times people are dealing with that underneath, and sometimes we're masking a lot of layers of old trauma or old emotional energies we haven't dealt with, right? And things like that from our past. And I feel with awakening, oftentimes you think, okay, I did that, I healed, I did all this stuff. Sometimes when we go through a spiritual awakening, it re-triggers a lot of old energies from our past that we revisit, hopefully with a higher perspective level of awareness, right? With it, maybe going into a healer and kind of, you know, going through some of this stuff. And I love it because a lot of times we're like, nah, I'm good with that lady. We continue to replay what is unresolved within our energy field through our external situation. So if we have something unhealed within ourselves, it's just going to present in a karmic situation in our life or a karmic cycle. It's going to re-come up. There's going to be echoes of it in our reality. So sometimes we have to resolve things because we always think we're here for the ego to like build, gain material items, whatever it is, right? But actually what the soul is here for during this time is to integrate unintegrated energies and to become more whole. So it is through our lessons of drawing to us what needs to be healed, what needs to be integrated, what needs to be acknowledged, what type of shadow work do we need to do, right? Through our external experiences. Now, the unawakened is going to go through a lot more trauma because of this, right? And we know that from our own past. Now, once we've awakened, we're better at putting the patterns together and the pieces together and like, oh, okay. And we become more conscious aware, and the process gets a lot easier the more that we are consciously working on ourselves. So we have two options. We can not do the work and continue to unconsciously go through the process, but we're still going through the same process. Once we can wake up and become more conscious to work on ourselves on the energy level, it's going to be the game changer. So this is like something from your past needs resolved. Now, especially if it's playing out still in your life. And so I always say, pay attention to the painful cycles and what areas that you're really, really working on yourself and healing. And this is personal to everyone, right? But we do have some things that we're all going through on that collective level. So something from your past, traumatic, that you've been through that still might be affecting you now. And it could in many different areas too. So past healing, healing your past. Let's see. Now I'm going to put it out there. Once again, not popular. We're living in a traumatic environment now, right now, like on planet Earth, 2025, with all of the things that we're shown and seeing and on the collective level. I'm not going to go into that. Okay, that's a whole nother rabbit hole, right? But sometimes it can traumatize people, and sometimes it's not obvious, and it's not subtle through things that we're shown all of the time and images, and I'm not going to go into all the psyops and things like that too. And so, you know, a lot of it comes from our trauma, actually living what we have lived during the planet during this time, and even continuing to live too. So why we kind of need to be aware of that, we'll say. But healing your past is going to help to transmute a lot of shadow energy for you and take your vibration a lot higher. Okay, Tracy May. Marak, embrace oneness with the universe. And this is perfect energy for today, because actually All Saints Day tries to encourage us to get on that level too, to merge back into oneness, back to oneness with source, back into the light, and shift into a higher frequency, and to kind of go through this work. So there's obviously some transmutation is required, because it is that heavy energy, whether it's karmic energy, we talked about a minute ago, traumatic energy, and things that we've been through that we need to kind of process. I call that energetic processing. I've realized a lot of people don't know how to process these energies, and that is okay. It's what I'm here for too. I help you guys to process these energies that you bring to me when we do these sessions. I just call them readings, but they're phone calls. When I do these phone call healings with you, when I do these sessions with you, or energy work, I'm helping you to process energy. Not everyone has that awareness and capability, and that is okay. So I just call it, we have unprocessed or unfinished or unresolved energies. And that's exactly, it isn't like some negative thing that you did that makes you deserve the trauma or whatever. It's just simply unprocessed energies, and that we have to process them in some type of way. This is why energy healing is a lot easier, to actually just do that kind of work, instead of, you know, needing to attract another karmic person into our life that's going to trigger old wounds and things like that. So there's easier ways to process some of these energies. And this is a card about returning to source. And this is exactly what we work towards with what we call the Ascension process, and kind of going through it, or whatever that entails for you and kind of brings up. And so a lot of times we think it's all love and light when we have the spiritual awakening, but I found it's like like this is where it gets more intense. A lot of times people have like a dark night of the soul and then wake up, and then it's like all this healing that we need to do, and like actually we could be fitting in a lot of lessons or a lot of karma very fast, because you're at this like higher level and you're kind of wrapping up the loose ends that your soul is requiring you to move through to fully ascend to, or to wake up more fully to. So we've been in a lot of, in this lifetime, wake up energy, healing energy, and returning to source. So to return to source, I talk about it spiraling upwards. We need to raise our frequency. We need to really, really heal and clear out dense, lower energies that we're holding within the body, so that we can kind of do that process too. So this is you tapping into your light, uncovering your light through releasing anything kind of covering it up or weighing it down. Let's do Iris. Epoch. Pause in your journey. So this is a time of like rest, stillness, right? Happy holiday weekend, I said, right? But I mean, going into this part of the year too, I love it. I don't mind it. A lot of people can get seasonal depression, feel a little tired, right? It's like we see big time the effects of less sun, right, on our reality. And we're seeing that with more sun, because we're getting a lot of solar flares, where I'm going with this. We're getting a lot of ascension energies and solar flares. And so we see the impact of that. And the ancients knew this, but it's like we're going through this during our time. So we see when we're kind of, you know, in that lack of it, that we really, really feel it. We even see the earth kind of representing that too, as we go into like the fall and the bleak weather, and, you know, things like that too. So this is a good time though for clearing, resting, and then we can actually connect more because we know that the light shines brighter in the darkness. So we have more, this is an easier time to connect with the spiritual. This is why right now we can connect with the other side. We can connect with the spiritual. You're getting more clarity, whether you like it or not, whether that's good news, like, wow, you've been doing the work and you're feeling good in these energies, or it's not the best things you're seeing, but you're seeing, okay? You're seeing things clearly. And I always say to pay attention to where we're at right now, especially the next couple of days, to the insights that you're getting, the downloads that you're getting, the dreams that you're getting, what you're seeing about your life, what you need to work on. Are things still aligning, or, you know, are you needing to get more aligned too? So you're getting a lot of clarity, whether that's good or bad, right? Sometimes it might mean, okay, well, we all have more work to do, but it might be like you need to do some more work or whatever it is. So pay attention though, you're getting a lot of clarity. Let's do David Curtin. Okay, Samadhi, and this is, so I can't see the card good. I knew I was going to probably have to put the light on. This is perfect acceptance. So you're being guided to really, really embrace all aspects of yourself. So what usually happens, and I'm going to try my best to describe this, is we have a lot of repressed aspects, and I call these the unawakened aspects. And so sometimes that's what waking up is integrating these unawake aspects. So we need to wake up more. We know that, right? And we don't think that. We're in the ego state. We're good. We're awake. What are you talking about, lady? So we have a lot of negative aspects. So when we make, I always say, like, make two lists of like your best and your worst. That's the avoided pile, okay? Now, we love to, on a subconscious level, because we don't realize we're consciously doing it, we love to project all of the avoided aspects onto maybe our lover or the people that get closest to us. It's all the negative thoughts in your head, right? When they come up. I'm not saying they're there all the time, but they lie underneath. So when you're triggered, you're having a hard time, you know, you're having relationship problems, we love to kind of project. Now, I find that usually in the beginning, people project their ideal version of their like partner and how they see them. And then, you know, you spend like a few years or get really close to someone. It's like, okay. So we need to integrate. We need to heal and integrate the areas that need work. And sometimes these are, whether they're negative thoughts, projections, shadow aspects, you know, things we don't see about ourselves, but they're there. Welcome to being human. We're very multifaceted and things like that too. So this is to really, really embody the shadow and the light. And like, we see a lot of people, they don't want to do the shadow work. I've been finding that a lot lately. Like, a lot of people don't want to take accountability. When you start to talk to them and be like, okay, maybe you need to work on this stuff, they avoid, they ghost, right? They ghost, they avoid, and things like that. But for those that are willing to walk through those shadows or to work through those shadows and do that work, this is how we alchemize them. And this isn't like a negative thing. It's becoming more whole. And actually, we've seen these shadows in the background of our life, little projections in our partners playing out in our situations and everywhere, okay? So when we can go within, because they exist within, and we can look at ourselves and our own shadow traits and aspects, and we can begin to work on them and refine them and purify them and transmute them, guess what? They don't exist in the reality anymore because we've healed them and turned them into light, and we stop having them play out in the background in various ways and things like that too. Continuing to do that inner work and to integrate better the light and dark aspects. And everyone's like, I don't have shadow aspects. And I'm like, I'm going to pull up, I'm your spirit guide, and I got on video your whole life. I'm going to pull up your worst moments, the thoughts in your head too. Like, imagine being your spirit guides trying to sort all this out, jokes aside, right? And okay, let me pull up, you know, scene 22 of your life. Okay, so we all do. It's not when we're amazing, we're in the great vibes. It's, you know, maybe it's sometimes when we're at the lower or we're having a hard time or whatever it was. So we're going through shadow work here on earth, whether we realize that or not. That's all this place is. Like, we are being guided to transmute, to purify, to clear, you know, to get aligned. So continuing to integrate, we'll say, these aspects and continuing to do your work, but also seeing, last message, the perfection of what God has created within you. Humans are not meant to be all light and avoidance, right? Guess what? I love it. Humans are different. We're all different. I love it. We're supposed to be, but we're multifaceted. You know, you're perfect as is. The universe didn't make any mistakes with you. I know people would love to convince you of that. Your divine design is perfect to a T. I'm not saying not to work on ourselves, because I'm bigger like work on ourselves than anyone, but also, you know, seeing that perfection in what the universe has created. Let's do Heather Bennett. Protection, set personal boundaries. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. I probably shouldn't, but yesterday I had an experience where, of course, it was some stranger on the internet. Someone was really like rude to me. I just do my usual. I set my boundary. Like, if you need me, this is how you get at me. You go to my website, whatever. Okay, they were really rude to me just for a moment, and I'm really getting good at holding a boundary and just I'm out of there. I'm not even going to engage, right? And I was saying I felt it in my heart chakra. I instantly felt pain in my heart chakra. It's something I feel a lot lately with the collective. Sorry, just reading this section with the collective and things like that. So I was kind of going deeper into why, because I've been having issues with that. Okay. And the reason why oftentimes is because it's an energy exchange. Someone might not mean to. I don't think people intentionally mean to do this. They're just in their vibe or whatever. But sometimes people can throw out a little bit of a negative vibe. And I think that's what you're receiving when you really feel that, especially when it comes to the heart chakra, because we receive a lot of energy through our heart chakra. So really you're feeling a jolt of energy energetically, and this means that you need to set a firmer boundary too, okay, when you're like going through this, and it's important that we are setting energetic boundaries, because everything is energetic, but a lot of people don't have that energetic awareness. Trust me, they don't, and that they're not realizing that. So it's up to us to get on that level of energetic awareness to set a boundary if we're needing it with our personal energy. You don't have to engage. You can, I want to say, you can do what you want. Well, in the scope of things, you know, if you don't want to engage with something, you don't have to. The days of people pleasing are over. We know that we destroyed our energy in doing that, and staying too long, staying in toxic situations, you know, going through the drama cycles of other people. We're learning to pull back and to really honor our frequency and our energy, and to decide what's worth our time and our energy. And this is where energetic maturity comes in, and learning that, right? And this is so important. So setting good boundaries is energetic protection. Now I want to go another layer into this. Sometimes we talked about rejection, when things didn't work out, when you really wanted to like be with a person and it seemed like they didn't want you, you really wanted that job and they didn't call you back and you were really upset about it. It could be anything. Those closed doors. Oftentimes we don't realize that was the universe protecting us. We are sometimes protected from things we can't even see. And so while you're, you know, hung up on, oh, I really wanted that and it looked great in my mind, that could have been a very bad toxic relationship. That could have been a very bad place for your energy to work, and it could have led to your downfall. Spirit is always protecting us, and we have to trust that when it comes to a greater universal level. And so this is why we shouldn't, I use the word chase, we shouldn't chase after things that are not for us, because sometimes I always say we can't see the big picture while we're here on earth. And guess what? The spiritual can. The universe is always kind of trying to guide us or nudge us forward. So also really paying attention to our guidance when it comes to people, situations, what to be doing. And I have a lot of hope for the planet, because I feel that as we're waking up, we're getting more clear. And so the 3D is very messy, like people are very disconnected from their guidance. They don't know which way they're going. And so as we are navigating the planet from a 5D level, guess what? You're getting clear guidance. This is for me. This isn't for me. You know what to be doing. So also sometimes a form of protection is really listening to the spiritual guidance that's coming through, and not, you know, you're not here to please everyone. You're not here to do their work for them anymore. You know, you're really here to honor your own energy. And when you make these subtle shifts, amazing things begin to happen. Let's do Sam Beadle. Epiphany, time to reveal your gifts and time to share them too. I was talking a lot about, because I get them backwards, all Saints Day is a time to be of service. This is how we level up. It's why you see me doing these videos, right? It's why you see me showing up and, you know, doing what I do. It's what I do. But on the higher level, we're here to be of service of the spiritual. We're here to help the planet. And I feel this is what the collective needs during this time, that energy. And however you're being guided to share your gifts, it doesn't have to be like this on video, don't worry. It can be literally like your friend calls you, your parent calls, whatever. Someone calls you, they're having a rough time, energetic support, helping them, guiding them through things. If you're feeling guided to do that, it can be in many different forms. It could be doing something nice for someone. Someone's struggling or having a rough time. Sometimes these small acts of human kindness are what people need, especially as sometimes what we're healing from is, people we talked about not being that kind at times, right? And so this is like the antidote to this entire whatever people are experiencing. Let's think about trauma and let's break it down. Someone was terrible to you basically, and it hurt you in a way energetically, and it can take a long time to heal from that. And so being of service helps both souls. It helps the soul being of service to level up. And it helps the person that you're helping in such a way too. And it doesn't even have to be anything. It could be small acts, just being a little bit more kind. And we can do this in the Matrix, my favorite. Like a lot of people, not going to go there. A lot of people, they're in a rush. Everyone's in a rush, right? They're in a rush and at the grocery store and being quite rude, getting their receipt. Think about that lady who has to sit there 8 hours a day and deal with rude people all day. Say thank you. I'm always a little bit more extra in the Matrix lately. Like sometimes I'm feeling like that too. I just want to get out of here and get home and get in my bubble. But sometimes just saying thank you a little bit extra, being a little more kind to the people that are out there, being of service, because that's another way that we learn to be of service through these jobs in the Matrix, by the way, like our trading. And so just being a little bit nicer at the checkout or giving that old person a wave, leaving, because you know what? No one's even shown them an act of kindness for 55 years, and that's why they're so grumpy or whatever it is. Small acts of kindness, getting the door for the older person that clearly can't get it and not slamming them in it, right? Like just taking a moment out of your day. And this is what it means to embrace, being human and being compassionate and just kind of being helpful. And I think that's going to happen. Like when I'm struggling for answers, because that's what I do, like it's what makes me tick. And I'm watching the collective, this shift and every shift, and I'm kind of seeing what's going on, big picture. And I'm thinking, what is the point of all of this, right? Do we ever think about that? And I've been like that my entire life. I was like the kid that was asking the adults, what's the point of this place and stuff like that. But I'm looking at it now and I'm like, why all the negativity rising up? I feel that this is going to bring us together. And I know people are like, what? All of that divide at the top and whatever, there's like political division and all this stuff going on. I feel we have to come together, that we need to build community and that we need to come together on such a greater level, and that it's going to take us back to oneness somehow. I don't always know the answers. And we're seeing that now. Look, we're all here. We're getting along. We're not arguing. I don't see any rude comments, right? And I think that's what is so important, is simply just sharing positive stuff, energy, memes, right? Energy, in a very, we have a mixed environment, we'll call it. I was going to say there's a lot of negative energy purging out in one place, but just simply to be more kind or to share kinder posts that are not polarizing and creating hate and things like that too, because I know people do that. But just simply small acts of kindness can change someone's entire perception about what's going on. I feel from the other side, you're going to be shown key moments of your life. The ones that don't go good, look, they create trauma and karma and things like that. We know that, right? So let me get this straight. We have two souls. They don't get along. Hey, it can happen. Right? Because we weren't seeing things clearly when we were asleep. So there's more of that energy, that polarized energy. So you don't get along, and it can create karma that needs to be worked out and a lot of healing. So what if we could get along in these interactions? You're having these interactions, whether online, in real life, you're having these little interactions. What if we could be more kind? It's going to create good karma, by the way, because we know negative karma is just simply two souls not getting along, and it can create all this ripple effect. So if we could just simply, be nicer to each other, that's like the foundation of every spiritual belief ever. Be more kind to each other. It's going to create good karma, and it can really, really heal and elevate our life and things like that. Because we know what happens with the negative exchange, right? It can later, 10 years later, some karmic cycle comes back up, and we're like, oh, okay, this is cause and effect from something negative from the past. So if we could be kind, and I'm practicing that in my everyday life right now, like just being nice, getting along with the souls around me, pumping them up, hyping them up, amazing things start to happen in your life. So negative interactions, negative karma is like kind of, I don't want to say it's reward and punishment, right? Getting along, the reward energy. Okay, let's do Melissa Noel. Minimus, commune with the source. And I love this because I go right back to the source. I've never been, I don't want to say it for all the middlemen. Oh no, I don't want to say that. Okay. And I always knew that. I was always like, why is everyone praying to these people? But why don't we just go straight to God? Like, okay, just putting it out there. Okay, and I'm all for many gods if you're from a different culture too, right? But going back to the source, I believe we have a lot of gods and ascended masters and angelic beings and archangels and all this stuff. But going straight to that energy source where we come from, and I feel getting closer to God. So a lot of negative spiritual beliefs and distorted views, probably from about 5,000 years ago, back in time, they started to make all these religions and ideas and books, and I'm not gonna go there. And maybe it got a little distorted. And then what? And then the people who did that, they died anyway, and we're left on earth and we're kind of sorting out the pieces, and there's a lot of distortion in a lot of religions. However, I find there are many paths up the mountain. And this is what I love about the planet. There's no right way. I see all these people like leaving comments, you have to do it this way, and it's only through this guy, or right? Okay, and that was like the problem with some of the foundations. And so as we're waking up, the Delulu is wearing off, and we're finding our own spiritual truths and our own way up the mountain. And that can happen across all religions, across the entire planet. We see these energies hitting the whole planet, and everyone kind of waking up and finding their way back to source, back to the light. And this is what today is a beautiful reminder of connecting with source, connecting with the source energies, and how we do that too. And I've always been we need to get closer to God. We need to purify and to release the karmic energies. And as we're doing that, we're able to get closer to the divine, closer to God, closer to source, whatever you call it. I'm getting on that higher angelic level of like source and energy, if you know me, and things like that. But whatever works for you, honor that, and whatever helps you to connect more. So this is all about connecting back to source and removing any blocks, especially spiritual beliefs that have been disconnecting you and keeping you a little bit stuck or blocked. So when we want to get closer, we want to really work with the crown chakra, as that's what actually connects us energetically. So when our chakras are blocked up, we're not going to feel it. So a lot of you guys are really feeling these energies the past few days strongly. I do energy work, so I get to talk to people, and I was really, really feeling it, whether you're feeling like waves. And this goes with awakening too, but I mean especially in these gateways, waves, goosebumps, chills, energy vibrating down you, waves of energy, that's my favorite, and things like that too. So you might be feeling currents of energy, you might be kind of feeling the energies, how you do, and in different ways. And this is a sign when you are, that your chakras are open, or we'll say opening or getting open, because everyone's at different places. And the more that we work on our crown chakra, we can activate these higher chakras that connect us more with source too. And these are amazing ones. We have our galactic chakra, our Akashic record chakra, right? And this is where gifts begin to open up too. So we'll say continuing to work on your spiritual awakening journey. And this is why we see like meditation, amazing for the crown chakra, energy work, Reiki attunements helped open up my crown chakra, hint, by the way, right? Like I could actually feel it, and it was like a whole thing. So, doing energy healing really helps with that too, if you're trying to connect more. We can become disconnected, no problem, me all the time. We can get disconnected. We can feel like we're at this higher level, and it's like, I went through this, and this, and I'm feeling a little lower. And one of the best ways to, I say, reconnect or connect on a higher level, or to stay connected, is energy work, by the way. It can really help open us up more, or to connect us with these divine energies too. But everyone is different. Spiritual practices. Jamie. Mosaic. Let's let chance play its creative role in your life. And so this is almost, and I hate this, go with the flow. Okay, it's go with the flow, energy, surrendering and trusting the divine. And I'll just put it out there and describe just my own experience. My life was a mess. I write about it just to show you guys like how far the divine has taken me on this journey. But my life was a mess. It was like I needed that spiritual awakening energy, because when we're like that, we're out of alignment. And so once we can get in that wake up energy, what it really is surrendering the ego. And this is a hard hard concept to understand. It's truly to let go of. Yes, we have a visualization of the life we want. We talk about that, but it's also to align with that, once again, that divine blueprint of the divine. And we can't always understand it. Like if I was to look at that, let's bring up the architecture blueprint. I'm going to look at a blueprint of like an entire huge building. I'm going to be lost. I don't speak architecture. Okay. I'm going to be like, what? That's the blueprint. That's the literal like labyrinth plan of our life. I'm going to be like over here, like, you know, I'm at the doorway, like, where do I go? Like, and that's how life is to navigate. We can't always see the big picture. Sometimes when we get our guidance, it's like for right now, what to be working on next chapter, not 10 chapters ahead, thank God, because everything is always changing with reality based on what we do or don't do, the choices we make. However, the divine has a huge blueprint for us, and it's always trying to get us to these higher levels, more rooms, right, of our life. It's a little bit like I always talk about, like, okay, your ego has manifested you this little small, I call it a shack, and the universe has a divine mansion it's trying to get you to. And I don't mean a literal house, like, right? It's like it literally has a bigger blueprint for your life. And when we can surrender, and when I can allow the universe to move through me and work through me, this is where miracles happen. This is where like so much is past me, and I'm kind of becoming a conduit for these source energies, for the universe. And I believe that's what humans were made for. We're like energy conduit. We're literally like a empty glass, because we have to empty ourselves out of everything we had to let go of, all of that loss and letting go and ego death and destruction. It just opened us up. And now that we are open, we are a channel for that source energy, and it can truly guide us where we're meant to go. Now, a lot of people struggle with this in the ego state of like, and this is where, like, when the shadow work comes in, the ego death comes in, it's very, very messy. Like, the ego is, like, literally trying to hang on to those closed doors we talked about, everything you've been through, even though the universe is like, let go, I'm trying to take you somewhere better. I'm guiding you somewhere better. And we can truly allow God to work through us and to become the person we're meant to be, which is so much bigger than we could picture on that 3D level. It's to really let go, to surrender, and allow your 5D self to come through, which is your higher self. And I was talking about sometimes it's actually our lower self that's holding us back in old patterns and programming. And it's like your higher self is this spectacular, purified version of yourself. I think of it as we are struggling through a 3D experience, trying to shift into a 5D version of ourselves, and our higher self is generally a 6D being. I don't think we could even comprehend that from where we're at now. It's this future version of yourself when you kept going. And so this is where we need to continue to keep going and allow that future version of ourselves to be, I want to say born, to come through, to really become that higher version of ourselves once we keep going with this journey. So continue to work on yourself and continue to be open to, really following your guidance of where it's trying to take you. It might be unexpected or somewhere different than you picture, but it's going to bring you to new heights. Let's do without a trace. Panacea. There's a solution for every problem. And I love this because we love our ego to create, that's me, create problems when there aren't problems yet. And maybe there will be a problem. Okay, that's fear. And it's like, okay, maybe this will happen, and thank God that it doesn't. Okay, but we love to do that. Now, someone very wise taught me to deal with problems as they come up and not to worry about the problems because hopefully they don't happen. But it's just the way our mind works, right? We're learning that too. So when you are facing something, a hardship, an obstacle, a block, and sometimes we don't realize that when we're facing things in our outer reality, it is a chance to clear a block within, but we don't see that. If like the external is a reflection of the internal and we're moving through things like, oh, I got a problem come up, we'll just say something didn't go good, okay? Like, okay, this is hard, something didn't go good, welcome to being human, that the universe is going to give you what you need to move through it. So as things come up, whatever it is, an obstacle comes up, this is harder than I thought, I don't know what to do, you're going to get the guidance to easily move through anything. And so this is why it's so important that we are attuning to our inner guidance to help us through this process, because it's going to help us the best of what to do. And so, yeah, our friends can give us advice. Go to a friend. Okay, do this, don't do that. And, they're seeing it from their lens. The best advice is going to come from within. Now, the problem is sometimes we get a little disconnected from our inner guidance. Good news though, this spiritual awakening is reconnecting you and on better levels, right? So we have to really, really tune into our inner guidance. Sometimes it comes through our thoughts. It might be subtle vibrations we're picking up on. It might be a feeling. It might be a sensation. Sometimes it could be direct downloads the more that we're open, and it gets a lot easier. So we're really having to trust our own inner guidance. In fact, most of the problems that we faced in the past were listening to other people and not listening to our guidance. Even though you knew on an intuitive level that your guidance was saying something, you might have listened to a friend, peer pressure. Oh no, and they've led you down a bad path. You might have been listening to a romantic partner and ended up somewhere that was better for them and not great for you. Your guidance is always best serving you and trying to help you through your own unique experience, as everyone has kind of their own soul blueprint and, journey to travel. Even together, we do. And so it's important for you that you're really listening to your solar plexus. That's that feeling in the pit of your stomach. Every time something, well, I don't say it's bad, something bad was coming up, it wasn't for you. You get a stomach ache, you might even get nauseous, you're not feeling good about it. This is where you start spinning and purging, and I don't know. Pay attention to the sensations that you're picking up in your body for you, especially your solar plexus. When something is aligned, you're going to get excited about it. It's going to give you energy. It's going to light you up, because our solar plexus is literally our inner sun. Like if we had a solar system, because you do, in your body, your solar plexus is your inner light. It's your inner sun. So it's very, very important that we are listening to that feeling at the pit of your stomach. Sometimes it might be like, don't do that. Right? And sometimes it's really excited. I got a new project. This is going to go good. Oh my God, this is a good opportunity. I love this relationship. Whatever it is, it's going to light up and let you know. Okay, I'm going on that note. Have a beautiful Halloween weekend. If you need it, rest, integrate, make sure you're doing things to shift your vibe, and enjoy the weekend. Beautiful day, like I said, to be connecting with the other side and the spiritual today and tomorrow. And enjoy your weekend. If you need me, I am around for healings and activations and things on my website today.